Hey guys, so today we're going to go over shoulder pain. Very brief introduction into what shoulder pain is. I'll go over some common causes of shoulder pain, some of the muscles that might be implicated in creating this shoulder discomfort, and finally I'll go over a few simple stretches you can try at home to see if you can alleviate some of this shoulder pain that you're dealing with at the moment. So make sure you guys watch to the end because I'm going to go over 3 different stretches that I find very helpful for the majority of my patients. So I don't know if I need to explain it, but basically shoulder pain is any pain that you have in this general area of the outside tip of your shoulder. That's again the very generic way to describe it, but it can also be from the chest, kind of the back of the shoulder, top of the shoulder that connects to your neck. But basically when people talk about shoulder pain, it's pain that can be present at rest, or more commonly, people complain about shoulder pain when you're elevating or raising your shoulder and you get that pinch in that outside portion of your shoulder. So that's what we're going to go over a little bit about today, more so the kind of pinching and discomfort that happens when you're lifting your shoulder overhead. So this can be with tasks such as putting stuff away in your shelves, going for shopping, doing some housework around the home, or even lifting in the gym. Overhead activities such as swimming or playing volleyball or throwing a football. So what we're going to go over today is why this happens or why this may happen, and some solutions that you can go through and run through at home and give it a try to see if it helps you alleviate some of this discomfort. So where we can start is how we categorize shoulder pain. Usually I break it down to either 2 different types, traumatic and non-traumatic. So those terms kind of self-explanatory. Traumatic would be a trauma to the shoulder. For example, if you had a fall and you landed on your outstretched arm, or if you ran into somebody playing a sport and you had your shoulder kind of yanked back, or if you went skiing and you landed on your shoulder, kind of on the outside tip of your shoulder. So those are what we consider traumatic injuries, and usually what happens with traumatic injuries is you're probably causing a micro tear or some kind of strain or sprain to the shoulder, maybe the joint itself, maybe the muscles surrounding the shoulder, or maybe you might even cause some damage or discomfort, irritation to the joint surface itself. Obviously, if you had a traumatic injury to the shoulder, you've damaged some of the tissue, and the reason why you're having pain in the shoulder is because this tissue is damaged. So proper assessment, proper diagnosis, and proper treatment. So that can include some hands-on therapy, modalities, and most of the time some exercises that help with strength and range of motion. Now, more commonly, what I find a lot of patients having issues with is the non-traumatic shoulder injury. And so the reason that non-traumatic injuries can also cause discomfort to the shoulder through elevation or lifting your shoulder is because they can cause what's called a subacromial impingement or an impingement in the shoulder. And there's many ways or many types of non-traumatic injuries. The more common ones would generally be stiffness of the shoulder, so joint stiffness, instability through the shoulder, so if you had a very lax shoulder joint, or weakness of the shoulder. So for example, if you had a rotator cuff that wasn't working optimally, and because of that your shoulder wasn't tractioning or it wasn't being located in the shoulder joint properly as you're lifting the arm up overhead. And of course you have the other injuries that might mask a shoulder pain. So for example, injuries to the neck where the nerves are affected, which then can cause radiating pain down your shoulder. Usually this would present like a burning sensation, pins and needles, or numbness. But we're not going to touch on that too much today. So one of the more common reasons for a not painful, non-traumatic shoulder injury that I see in clinic are those people who spend a lot of time in front of the computer all day, shoulders forward, shoulders up toward the ear, causing a lot of tension through their chest and the top of their shoulders, watching YouTube videos all day. Is that you right now? Raise your hand. Ooh. Now don't get me wrong, sitting in slump posture is not a bad thing, especially if you don't spend all day in it, but that's a topic for another day to discuss. Follow the channel, subscribe to my channel if you're interested in why I think this is. I'll go over a video about my thoughts on poor posture, or I should say poor posture in the future. So keep an eye out for that video. But today what we're going to do, I'm going to break it down to three groups, or three muscle groups that get implicated quite often when it comes to seated posture and forward posture, especially with all the daily activities that we spend in front of us all the time. So reaching, grabbing, lifting, carrying things. So muscle group number one that can get implicated quite often are your pec muscles. So your pec muscles are composed of the pec major and the pec minor. So we think about these muscles as your push-up muscles or your bench press muscles. And you think about it, if you're sitting at the computer all day, if you're working at the desk all day, and your shoulders slowly come forward, you're going to be putting these muscles in this kind of tight position or contracted position all day. And as a result, those muscles become tight. Muscle group number two. So this is your upper traps and your left scap. So these muscles attach to your shoulder blade and attach kind of the base of your skull and into your neck. Now these muscles help with shoulder elevation, so kind of bringing your shoulders up towards your ear. And you think about it, if you're sitting at the computer all day, your shoulders tend to do this kind of creep up towards the ear. So these muscles in that position for a long period of time can cause tension, and again, that can implicate or impair shoulder elevation, causing pinching. Now, muscle group number three. These are the muscles that are behind your shoulder blades. So your teres major, teres minor muscles, but also your lats that kind of come from the shoulder and come all the way down, attaching into your lower back. Now these muscles can get tight because these muscles, you can think about what the lats do. It's a lat pull down machine. It brings your arms down and towards the body. So if you think about us in that position all day at the computer, our arms are always next to our body, to our sides. And as a result, it's going to tighten up those lats. It's going to cause tension to the lats. And as we try to lift our arms up, those lats, those teres muscles are going to restrict the upward motion. And again, this can cause pinching and discomfort. Now, before I show you the stretches, what I want you to do is test yourself. Let's lean yourself up against the wall, or you can stand against the wall. And what I want you to do is I want you to lift your arms up overhead and see if you can get your arms to be parallel or flush up against the wall without arching your back and without pinching or pain. Are you able to do it? Let me know in the comment section below. Now we're going to go over how we stretch each of these muscle groups. Now, if you're interested in how I treat these in clinic, click on this video up over here, or is it up over here? I also leave some links in the description box below about how I dry needle these muscles. So the traps, the lats and the teres, and the pec muscles, are muscles that we can needle quite often. So stretch number one for the pec major, I like to do it up against the door frame. Placing your hand up on the edge of the door frame, you can do one arm or you can do both arms at the same time. And what you want to do is you want to do a lunge step, so one foot in front of the other. And slowly, as you lean forward, I want you to feel a nice stretch coming through the chest. Now, this shouldn't be painful, it should be a comfortable stretch. And once you get that nice comfortable stretch, hold that for 30 seconds. You can do this as often as you want to throughout the day. Stretch number two, again, we're going to be stretching out your left scap and your upper trap muscles. So for this one, what you're going to do is you're going to bring your ears toward the shoulder, and you're just going to lean and pull your ears down toward the shoulders. Now this one's going to stretch your upper traps. Again, holding this for 30 seconds. You can take your non-stretch arm and put it behind your back or sit on your hand to anchor that down and get a better stretch. The second stretch for this one would be then just to rotate your head looking down towards your armpit, and again giving a nice gentle stretch, pulling down as you do that. Now again, none of these stretches should be painful. If it is, you're going too far. Now the third and final stretch for this 3-step stretch for your shoulder is a lats and teres stretch. So there's two ways that I like to do this. The first way is to lean my entire arm up against the wall and slowly lean my body forward until I feel a nice gentle stretch into the back of my shoulder here. Now I can also do the same thing with my arm bent and leaning my elbow into the wall until I feel a nice gentle stretch through the back of my shoulder here. Again, none of these stretches should be painful. If it is, you're going too far. Hold for 30 seconds and you can do these as much as you want throughout the day. Alright, now that we stretched our three major muscle groups for shoulder tension, let's test it again. So what I want you to do is sit up against the wall or stand up against the wall. Lift your shoulders up and see, are you able to get your shoulders up a little bit further? Let me know if you were able to do that after the stretches. Well, there you have it, guys. Those are the three main stretches that I would give anyone who comes into the clinic with a stiff or tight shoulder that's causing impingement and pain with overhead lifting. If you guys found that helpful, I'm going to try to post this video every other week, so consider subscribing and like this video because it really helps out. Until next time, guys, remember, I got your back.